All right, for the first time since, I don't know, August or September of 2024, kamusta na kayo?
Hola, hola, everyone.
What's up, everybody? My name is Nico Blitz.
And I'm Jackie Ramirez.
And Mexipino podcast is back in commission. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We're alive. You're here and you're alive. If you're listening to this, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. We know we've been on a hiatus, but life has just been lifing. And yeah,
that's the motto. That's the motto.
Literally what all I can say. Like, life has been lifing in the best ways possible.
Yeah, in so many different ways possible. I mean, I think just 2024 in general was super busy, and Jackie and I were just trying to get our lives together amongst other things that we will be getting into later in this podcast.
Yes.
But you know, we're here and we're happy, and we have a lot to update you guys on and a lot of topics to talk about now.
Yeah, so like we have a lot of updates to give you guys about our personal lives, about Mexipino, about, you know, how the end of the year went last year for Mexipino. I mean, we had back-to-back food fest. We had, and those food fests were in like Sacramento, San Diego, so those were literally quite insane in the best way.
Yeah, man. I mean, it gets tiring doing all the food fests. In a good way, it gets tiring.
In a great way. And, you know, just trying to see where the direction of Mexipino was going to go this year, the direction of our personal lives, of our relationship. And yeah, we went on a cruise.
Yeah.
We went like a cruise again for work. I think the last time we talked about a cruise was the last Disney cruise that we went on.
Yeah. Why don't you explain like the whole like gist of like what the cruise was?
Yeah. So the Disney cruise that we get sent on for work, because I work in radio, basically Disney will send us on a cruise, and their newest cruise line is the Disney Treasure.
Amazing.
It is beautiful. It is literally like a whole different world on a boat. And this sailing that we went on wasn't even like an official sailing. It was one of the inaugural sailings. So I think they had only sailed, maybe this was the second time they sailed. The one that we went on was the second time.
Yeah, it was the second time for sure. And that's why I was just like, well, you know, it's Disney, so it's going to be good. But once they threw in like, yo, this is going to be the second sail, I was like, ooh, okay. Like, are you sure? Are you absolutely sure this is okay?
Yeah, so Disney sent us on the sailing, and what we do on the actual boat is we broadcast from there. And so that way we get to experience it, because eventually on radio, we're going to be giving away the trip for the cruise. And so we want listeners to know, like, hey, we've experienced this. We're not just sending you and like BSing around about what goes on. So on the cruise, the destination was Castaway Cay in the Bahamas. We sailed out of Florida. And Castaway Cay is Disney's private island, which I had no idea that Disney even had a private island.
I know. I mean, at this point, Disney owns damn near everything.
Yeah, and they don't occupy the entire island. They only inhabit like a portion of the island.
Yeah, like imagine like, you know, Squid Game 2 island, but like kind of on like the you know, the side, the coast, you know what I mean?
It's literally just a portion of the island, but they own the whole island. But it is beautiful. It's a private island, and that's
I mean, that's how this whole podcast started, and we've been wanting to talk about this with you guys. Also on the private island, and the trip in general, Jackie also did invite her parents. That was also like paired as like their Christmas gift.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
I got to take my parents on one of my very first work trips, and that was really cool just to experience them living their life too.
Yeah.
Because I forget that, you know, my parents are living their life for the first time.
Well, you know, they basically had you and your brother Jacob when they were a little bit on the younger side.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see them as, I mean, not that I was around when, you know what I mean, but like it's cool to see them like as adults just do the things that they never thought they would be doing because they quote unquote didn't necessarily get the chance to when they were younger.
Yeah, I think my mom had me when she was 25 and I was the last one.
Jesus
so
Christ,
like yeah, and so 4 years before that she had my brother 4.5 years.
Yeah. So yeah, she was like 21 then when everything happened.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're living their lives for the first time. My parents have been traveling and they had such an amazing time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because.
Well, basically, long story short, and before we get into the long story, we are engaged.
We're engaged.
You know what I mean? For everybody.
I don't know if that can focus. Oh, yeah, it is focusing.
I mean? Everybody who's following our social media platforms, you already know, but we wanted to officially say this on the podcast. We're officially engaged. Long time coming. It's coming up on 5 years now.
Yeah, our relationship.
Yeah, our
5 years.
relationship's coming up on 5 years.
We've been engaged now for a little over a month.
Yes.
Yeah, Nico proposed on the private island, and I literally could not have picked a better ring. I didn't even pick this ring. That's what a lot of people think. I think when they see the ring is like, oh my God, did you pick it? And I had no idea that was a thing, picking a ring, your engagement ring. And I always tell people, I'm like, no, Nico just kind of knew what the shape I wanted and ran with it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, fellas, let me give you a tip, or even ladies, whoever you are going to engage to, right? Let me give you a quick tip. Listen to your partner, right? And make sure you know exactly what they want. In this case, Jackie wanted like a teardrop or a pear shape. And, I was conversing with a whole bunch of my people and whatnot on how to get the right ring. Get the lab diamonds, man. Get the freaking lab diamonds.
I don't think I'm supposed to know that, babe.
It says on the certificate it's a lab diamond.
I was like, I don't know
gave
if
you
I'm
the
supposed to
certificate.
But it also I think that also begs a question too. One, should you pick your own engagement ring? And two, should you ask how much your engagement ring cost?
Okay.
And I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Okay. Well, I'll put it to you this way, right? I don't think that, I mean, you can have an idea of what the engagement ring is, but let's say your partner's kind of just maybe a little tight on money. I don't think you should be the one picking. I think the partner who is proposing should always keep in mind what you want, but still pick the one that they want for you.
Yeah. Well, I've always heard that there's some people that I know and that have just, I've seen on the internet saying yeah, I picked my engagement ring.
Okay.
And I'm just I never really knew if that was the traditional thing or that just happened for that particular couple, I
wouldn't know either. This is the first time I proposed.
Yeah, but for me, obviously, this is the first time I got him proposed too. But yeah, for me, it's just I gave you the ideas. I sent you videos, countless videos.
Yeah.
But you ran with it, and this is my ring. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's literally stunning and blings like crazy.
And I think part two of your question, right?
Should you ask?
Should you ask how much you paid for, or your partner paid for the engagement ring?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel the first of many thoughts that came to my mind when you proposed to me was oh my God, this is a freaking rock that I have on my finger. How much did this cost? Because I was worried oh my God, I hope he didn't break the bank, this and that. But I know I shouldn't ask that. But I feel I don't know. A lot of people may know how much their engagement rings cost or their wedding bands or whatever. I feel a lot of people know that.
Okay.
But I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I also don't know if it's rude.
Well, all I'm saying is if you really want to get something nice for a little bit of an inexpensive more cost, you get the lab diamond because it, when I was engagement ring shopping, I literally saw smaller rocks that were real diamonds, but they were way more expensive. And I'm like, bro, this don't make no sense, man. Give me the bigger rock. It's a lab diamond. You know what I mean? Which is still a diamond.
Yeah.
And it's bigger? Come on, man.
Bro, I don't care. Do you see this? I'm going to be honest. I don't even know the difference, so it's cool.
Yeah. And on top of that, we live in the United States. So, you know what I mean? I might have just paid 4 months rent.
I'm freaking sick. That's crazy. Not me trying to do the math quickly in my head.
Man, but I think it's a beautiful thing leading up to the actual proposal and engagement, because Jackie had told me about this trip to the Bahamas, probably like summer 2024, and she also suggested to bring her parents, which I was absolutely fine with. So I started plotting. As a man, I started plotting.
You started plotting in the summer?
Yeah, I started plotting. I started throwing you a lot of misdirection, like, yeah, you know, like, I think it's going to be like mid 2025 when I'll do it or something like that. I was throwing you a lot of misdirection.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I wasn't expecting it until like we were on the trip. And even then I didn't have like super high expectations because you were
okay.
like, you didn't like, no, not like that. Like you didn't have, like, I didn't have that expectation. Like, okay, like it's going to happen this trip. I was just like, it may happen on this trip, but if it doesn't, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because Nico was like telling me like, oh yeah, like I'm thinking by mid next year, like I'll propose. And I was just like, okay. So,
yeah. And so, you know, leading up, I ended up getting the ring. And let me tell y'all in very much Nico Blitz fashion, like what had happened. So the thing was, before I got the ring, or rather after I got the ring, and after we got on the boat to the Bahamas, I had not even asked Jackie's parents for her hand in marriage. I had not asked her dad. I had not asked her mom for permission for her hand in marriage. And so literally what had happened was Jackie was working on the ship, doing her radio stuff. Meanwhile, her parents and myself were unpacking our luggage. And I was just like, hey, auntie, hey, uncle, do you mind if I talk to you guys really quick? And then they're like, yeah, sure. And I was like, yeah, I kind of wanted to show you guys something. And, you know, like I showed them the ring. And then literally your mom started crying like right off the bat. And I'd asked for permission. And then your dad was like, we've been waiting for this moment. So yes, absolutely. And I was like, oh, thank God.
So you didn't really even ask. They just said, yeah, sure.
They just said, yeah, sure. And the thing was, in my brain, I was like, you know, it's kind of perfect if I asked them on the ship because you're either for the relationship or you're going to be off the ship. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. That's literally insane. But I feel like I don't even still know like what the conversation was after like you had asked my parents, like if there even was a conversation. Like,
I mean, not really. We were all just happy. They were happy. And they were just like, hey, like, so when do you plan on doing it? Like, you know, during this trip. And I was like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. I just know that we have time to be on the beach in the Bahamas a little bit, you know, in a couple days. So probably over there. They're like, all right, cool. The funny thing was that, you know, I was hiding a freaking rock, a ring in my bag, in multiple of my bags, and her parents knew at this time as well. And apparently, like, myself and her parents were acting weird in the eyes of Jackie.
Yeah, like, I feel like the entire trip, because you know what, like, tipped me off first?
What?
There was a few things that tipped me off, but then I was just like, maybe not. Like, okay, because when we first were going to board the boat, it was Nico's grandparents' anniversary.
Uh-huh.
And you had called them. And you never, like, go away for phone calls. You never go away for phone calls. And you're like, and then I was just like, okay, like, let me say congrats to your grandparents. And you're like, oh, hold on. And then you're, like, talking to your grandpa. And then I can hear you, like, not yelling at your grandpa, but talking really loud. And I was just like, that's weird. Like, okay, like, whatever. So then I was just like, maybe. And then I was just like, I don't know. So then I was just like, okay, I'm probably in my head, I'm looking too deep into things. And then it was just kind of stagnant after that. So I was like, okay, this is probably not going to happen. And then there was another point in the trip where we were talking about, like, I think we were just talking about, I forgot what we were talking about, but you had basically kind of like insinuated like, oh, okay, like little does she know, like, type stuff. And I'm just like,
yeah, I remember that moment. I forgot what it was, but I do remember that feeling.
And then I was just like, what? Like, okay. But then after that, you started acting like hella weird. And my parents weren't like, really like my parents also love to like chismear. So like I know when they want to say something and they didn't have that look on their face, but they were acting really weird. So I was just like, what's going on? And then I was just like, well, if he was going to do it, like, I don't think he's going to do it anymore because it like you just stop making references. And I was just like, okay, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't know. And eventually, like, yeah. And then when it was about to happen, when you were about to propose, you were on FaceTime with your family. And it's not weird that you would FaceTime your family while we're on vacation because we both FaceTime our families to show them the views that we're looking at or whatever. But you kept on like just having them on the phone and you were pointing the camera down. I was like, if you're going to be on FaceTime with your family, at least show them the view. Like,
and mind you, we're in the Bahamas. We're in the East Coast. So we were 3 hours ahead. Yeah. So I did this at 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, maybe even closer to 10. So it was about like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning after my family had gotten drunk on the West Coast time.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then Nico proposed and then people were around us like clapping, celebrating. There was a lifeguard that was in the middle of the freaking ocean that was clapping, and then later on that same lifeguard like came up to you, was just like, I knew that something was happening. What also happened too, like during the proposal, is that Jackie ended up looking like through some binoculars to look at the ocean and whatnot, and then she told her dad to like look through. And then she told me to look through, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. So after I looked through, I told her to look through the binoculars again, and that's when I actually like knelt down and like presented the ring. And the funny thing about this presentation was that as soon as she saw me, she took like 2 steps back. And I was like, bro, like, you're not supposed to take, like, where are you going? You're not supposed to take 2 steps back. Yeah, I immediately just started crying and then I started laughing. And then I said at one point during the proposal, I was like, I don't know if I should cry or laugh. Like, because seeing Nico so like vulnerable and serious, like, is just funny sometimes because like he's not a serious person.
Not one bit.
And he didn't really have a speech or anything when he was like proposing. And like when he asked if I would marry him, I was like trying to get yes out of my mouth, like verbally, but I couldn't because I knew the minute like I gasped for air, I was gonna like lose my shit. Like I was gonna start crying and bawling. So I just nodded. I was like yeah. And then and then after the proposal, it was literally like I just felt like I wanted to pass out. Jesus I was like, Christ. Oh my God, I think I was holding my breath for too long. That's why. I was holding my breath for too long and I was like about to pass out. I was like getting dizzy. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to pass out. And no one was taking me seriously. I don't think you guys heard me, or I don't know if I wasn't saying it, but I know I said at one point. I
didn't hear you.
I was like, I think I'm going to pass out. And no one was like tending
That's crazy.
to me.
That's crazy. No, I actually did not hear you one bit saying you were gonna pass out.
Yeah, no, I know. I think my mom heard me, or my mom's like, she's like, oh my God, Jack. I was like, no, I think I'm gonna pass out. But it was beautiful, and I mean, my parents were so happy. Our families were on FaceTime, like our immediate families, and then we ended up telling the rest of our families, and yeah, FaceTimed a few close friends. It was beautiful.
I think one of the crazy FaceTimes was that, we ended up FaceTiming our homie Bootleg Kev, who, I FaceTimed him because he kind of directed me toward where to get the right ring. And so we FaceTimed him, and then he was like, congrats, Nico, you finally fucking did it. And I was like, thank you, bro. And I was like, hey, by the way, Jackie's parents are in this exact same room that we're talking in right now.
Because Bootleg Kev is known for just being so explicit.
Extremely explicit, to the point to where he said, oh, well, if Jackie's parents are staying in the room with you, where are you guys supposed to have like post-engagement sex?
And I was just like, thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
This is why I told you.
Like this is not the time or the place. But
shout out to Bootleg Kev, man.
Yeah, it was just insane. It was beautiful. It's more than I could have asked for, and now we're gonna plan a wedding.
Yeah, now we're planning our wedding, and I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I've DJ'd so many weddings to a point, and Jackie's been to a couple of weddings as well. But there's a lot of like, I guess like not hard do's and don'ts per se, but like just things that we wouldn't want for our wedding.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to a lot of things that like are in our eyes necessary and not necessary, it varies per couple, varies per like family. I think for us, I definitely don't want kids at our wedding. I want a kids-free wedding other than immediate family only. And when I say that, I mean literally there's only like 5-6 kids that I have in my head right now.
Yeah, I mean 2 nieces, 2 nephews, and 1 more on the way. That's real. Not ours, but you know what I mean?
No, actually, no. It's 2 nieces, 2 nephews, and 2 little cousins.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll give the hard answer. Do kids belong at weddings?
I don't think so. The you know what pisses me off?
What?
Is when I see like these viral videos of kids like fucking up a first dance at a wedding.
Oh,
and
no.
These kids are not even like dressed nice either. They're like in jeans and like a regular graphic t-shirt. And I'm just like, this little shit needs to get off the fucking dance floor. Like before, like that's why I don't want kids at my wedding. Like,
okay.
I see like it has the potential to go so wrong. And there's like so many guest and horror stories that I've like heard from about weddings where it's like everyone thinks that their kid is the exception, and it's not. Your kid is probably the reason that we're having a kids-free wedding. Like anyone who thinks that their kid is the exception is the reason that people are having kids-free like events.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say it like this. Like, I think that if a bride and groom like establishes like there are absolutely no kids at this wedding, like just don't bring them. You know what I mean?
just
don't bring them.
They just respect it. Like the bride and the groom have spent so much time, energy, money, and thought into their day to make it about you.
Yeah, I get that.
So the least you could do is just respect their wishes.
Yeah. And at least for me too, like I would say like I wouldn't want kids at my wedding, not because I don't like kids, but because like, you know, I feel like as a gift to, you know, everybody who's also attending, it's like, hey, you know, you could kind of be like stress free, like from your kid, low key for the next like 5-6 hours. You know what I'm saying?
And don't get me wrong. I understand that childcare is expensive. I understand that not everyone may have access to childcare. But at that point, it's like, I mean, if you can't make it, you can't make it. Like,
amen.
You know, like, sorry, but that's really what it is. And I think there's a lot of things that you and I are both going to kind of agree and disagree on when it comes to what we do want for our wedding and what we don't, like guest list. And I feel like guest list is the main thing that people argue about.
Man, guest list is the number one thing people fight over based off of how many people close to us say that is difficult, because you got to think about it. Like when it comes to a wedding guest list, there is obviously the immediate family members,
which in Mexican and Filipino like families, it's obviously like
it's huge.
It's automatic, like 100 people.
Yeah, like you're literally like if you're Mexican or Filipino, you're spending so much money on a wedding just because you have a fat guest list.
Yeah, like I think there's already rules that I've made that Nico agrees with for our guest list for our wedding, and there may be like 1 or 2 that he doesn't agree with, but like for me personally, I think the way to cut down on guest list is if we haven't talked to you in over a year, you're out. if they've never met either one of us, you're not in.
Yeah.
If like you've doubted or like not respected either one of us, you're out in my eyes. And I
Yeah.
think that's the one where you're kind of like, maybe not.
What? I never said that.
Oh, okay. I was just like, because I haven't brought that one up to you.
I've never, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I've never said that.
Oh, okay. But like, I think those are like the general like rules of thumb, I think, when it comes to like wedding guest lists.
Yeah. Like, for example, like if my homie like just got like, you know, a girl or whatever.
Oh,
and I don't really know her. It's
I don't
like,
know.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know how to go about that. Like plus ones at a wedding. Like, I feel like it's just so weird because we have obviously a lot over a year of wedding planning and to get our guest list situated. And I don't know how to go about like friends getting into relationships
Yeah.
while wedding planning, and if we should even invite those new significant others of friends.
I think if there's like absolute space at the end, that is kind of okay. Like after you've gone through the rounds of like elimination, and then there just so happens to be a spot.
Yeah.
And then your homie's like, yo, like, I'm gonna be honest, you know, I'm with this person. It's like, all right, cool. Like, you know, but like, I wouldn't put them on the priority list of like, no, we need to get them in here.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
like
saying?
honestly, if our like any one of our friends like gets into a relationship, maybe like 6 or 7 months prior to our wedding, I'm gonna be like, nah.
Yeah, shout out
Sorry.
Johnny Maxwell. You need to get somebody right now then.
I'm gonna be like, yeah, sorry, I can't really get to know someone well enough to invite them to my wedding 6 or 7 months prior.
Yeah, no, I get that. That absolutely makes sense to me. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I think even when it comes to like distant relatives and something like that, like, you know what I mean? Like your aunties, like your auntie's like
Friend.
cousin or like friend. It's kind of like, I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have. Believe me, if I could invite everybody, I would.
Yeah,
But
if we could,
I'm just not.
if we could say like, hey, pull up,
Yeah,
we would.
yeah.
We would, but we can't. And like, it's going to be very difficult. And I worry about, you probably don't because you really don't care about what anybody thinks. But
don't.
I worry about like people's feelings getting hurt. Like, I know we're close to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And if people don't make that guest list, I feel really bad.
I just feel like if you are actually very close to me or us, right,
Mm-hmm.
then your feelings would not get hurt because you understand that there's a limited amount of space.
Yeah.
And if you think we're as close as you think, but we're not, then there's absolutely no way your feelings could get hurt at that point.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's actually very, very true.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
You know, invite some coworkers and whatnot. We are absolutely chilling, man.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I think going back to what Jackie was saying, there's like a couple things that I do want to do that actually have to do with the Mexican tradition when it comes to weddings.
You know what's crazy is that, yeah, Nico like has been fighting for this very, very hard, and he's not even the Mexican in this relationship.
But I want to be at this point, man.
But he wants to do this specific thing for our wedding so bad, and that's the muertito and the culebra, the snake thing that was like, it's an old school tradition. I think it's an old school tradition.
But it's so cool.
But you think it's so cool, and I don't want to do it, but I've said yes to that on several conditions. I've said yes to it.
Well, why don't you explain what they are first?
Okay, so muertito is basically means like the dead man. So like it's like your death. So basically what we do in Mexican weddings is the groom will kind of just lay flat, and I think it's either his groom's party, like the groom party, the groomsmen, and maybe other guests at the wedding too. They will lift him up like they're carrying him in a coffin, and they basically toss him up, and they just like carry around a coffin, and it's muertito because he's basically a dead man because he's married.
Finally married.
Yeah, he's married and his life's over. Apparently. And then
I think it's cool.
I think it's called the culebra, which is the snake.
Okay.
Basically, we are held together. You and I are holding each other, and like kind of like a bridge. And people are going through and trying to break our bridge. And it's supposed to symbolize how strong our bond and our relationship is, and how strong our marriage will be. And so I personally, I know that my aunt and my uncle, they had that at their wedding, and they've been married for, I don't know how long, but they've been married for over 21 years. I know that for sure.
So it makes sense.
But I see it as an old school tradition, and it's crazy to me that my Filipino fiance wants to do this Mexican tradition at my wedding. Or at our wedding.
Because I had seen it at like this, actually it was a Filipino Mexican wedding, and I was like, yo, this is kind of popping. Like, I want this.
I really honestly didn't know that it was still a thing. Because a lot of the Mexican weddings that I've been to as of late haven't had that.
Okay.
And the only one that I remember having that was like 21 years ago. And I was, what, 5?
I was about to say, how do you remember a wedding from like 21 years ago?
Well, my mom told me that. That's what my tío did. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So I like, that's what he wants to do. But the Filipino tradition that like also I'm definitely okay with, and that Nico definitely wants to do, is wearing barongs.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've just been to a wedding in the actual Philippines, and you know, there was like a whole church ceremony and whatnot. Like it, you know, it took a long time. It took a very long time, which is absolutely fine. Not necessarily my thing. Let me just put that out there. And you know, like in the Philippines, it was like a whole celebration. It was like literally slaughtering a pig like right in front of me. I will never forget that.
Oh my God.
I was just like, yo, like this is kind of crazy.
What?
Yeah, like they literally like necked the pig, and I was like, dog.
Was that like the food?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and then they made lechon with that same pig, like put it in the ground.
Like everyone saw it?
Yes. I'm telling you, like,
bro,
super traditional.
If I was the bride, like I would be so far away from that. Like I don't want to ruin my dress. Like
no,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
it was crazy. But that's like, you know, if you're getting married in the Philippines type stuff. All I remember, in addition to that, was that, you know, everyone was dressed up in a barong, and like I had always envisioned, like, since that moment, like, you know, like when I end up getting married, I do want to wear a barong because, you know, it's fly.
Yeah.
It's loose. You know what I mean? Like you can actually like feel the air go through your armpits and whatnot. Like you can breathe in a barong.
And like I feel like it's such like a stressful day that you want to feel like
you
fresh.
Can breathe.
You want to feel like you can breathe and not pass out. But like I mean I really like how barongs look. I've been to now a Filipino wedding, a few Filipino weddings, I think.
Yeah.
And I just like how it looks. It still looks very elegant. I do want Nico to be the only one wearing a cream colored or white colored barong.
Yeah.
Which I know is probably going to be harder for guests because like I think it's harder to find colored barongs. I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't know. Barongs.everywhere.com.
Yeah, but like there's so many also like little things too. I'm not trying to be a bridezilla. I really am not. And it sounds like I am, but I'm not. Like I just have these very simple rules that I think guests should follow.
I'm not trying to be in control, but
for any wedding, like any cream, ivory, like obviously white colors.
Yeah.
If you're not the bride or if you haven't been assigned that color, don't wear it.
Got you.
Like, I've made it a decision in my mind that if I see anybody who isn't me or people that we've already designated to wear certain colors that are close to white, they're getting like yo, you got to go change.
So we're separating people by colors now, huh?
Oh my God. This is literally wedding attire. I'm literally talking about wedding attire.
No, I get you.
But like, I've seen so many videos and like stories about brides that like, there's always that one person
Again, respect what the bride and groom want. That's it.
Yeah, and
That's
literally,
it.
like, I will be so quick to be like, can you get them out? Like, I literally do not care who you are. I don't care how close you are to me, to my husband. I don't care. Like, you're out. Go change. I will literally have 4 black dresses in like different sizes, and I'll be like, here, you can go change in the bathroom for all I fucking care.
Yeah. Pick one.
Don't wear white at my wedding. Don't wear white. Don't wear cream. Don't wear ivory. I will literally kick you out of my wedding.
Now, what I do want at the wedding is definitely some absolutely good music, man. I just need some good music. That's all I want.
There's no EDM.
I actually want to DJ my wedding.
No, okay, so, oh my God.
Think about it.
This
like,
is like
it's,
the literally...
it's free. I'm not going to pay myself.
No, you're not going to DJ our entire wedding. I have literally allocated 15 minutes at most, max, for Nico to DJ at our wedding. And that is it. It is a very strict 15-minute. Because do you think I want to spend my wedding day away from my husband?
No, you could be right next to me.
No.
While I DJ.
No. That's not my answer. It's a yes or no question. Do you think I want to spend my wedding day away from my husband while I'm making rounds, talking to people, and taking pictures and dancing? Do you think I want to be away from my husband? Yes or no?
No, but
no.
But
it's just a yes or a no. Would you want to be away from your wife on your wedding day?
No, so if I DJ in the booth and you're right next to me, we're good.
That is literally not even the point. But it's crazy though, because I feel like we are very much open like to different genres of music. Yeah. But I have told Nico straight up that there will be absolutely zero EDM at our wedding.
Shout out to my guys, Showman Gun, Eyes Vincent, and DJ Kizza. It looks like you're not DJing the wedding.
It looks like you're just gonna be enjoying. I really appreciate you guys, and I love you guys, but no EDM.
Yeah, but you know the cool thing though, because I have DJ'd specifically Mexipino weddings, is that the music is extremely similar, right? Mm-hmm. So like for Filipino weddings, like the playlist looks like Todo Todo. And then for Mexican weddings, it looks like Suavemente. And then both of those songs kind of have like the same sound, the same feeling. So there's like a portion where like the two cultures like blend in that sense. Yeah. And they're both traditionally like of their own cultures, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like, I feel like there's going to be so much similarities in the way that we party. I feel like it's going to be very different, but super similar. Because if you think about it, not only are we blending 2 cultures, we're also blending 2 different cities.
Oh, yeah. Like blending in the Bay Area music and the LA music. Yeah. That's going to be fun.
We're blending in Spanish music. We're blending in Filipino music. We're blending in like Bay Area music. We're blending in LA music. We're blending in freestyle. We're blending in like oldies. We're blending in like hella different. Like we're blending in rancheros. We're blending in cumbia. Like it's going to be a plethora of music for our wedding that it's literally going to be insane.
Man, good luck to the DJ that we end up booking.
For real.
Should I hit up Nico Blitz now?
No, babe. What the fuck? No.
Can you just imagine? This is the last. Can you just imagine DJing your own wedding? Like that'd be popping. Okay, never mind. Anyways, we're gonna talk about kids and post-marriage right now. If we get to post-marriage at this point.
Yeah, right. I mean, this could be like the last topic for today. Yeah. But a lot of people, once we got engaged, automatically started saying, "Well, what about kids?"
I'm like, bro, can we just backpedal? Just take our time.
I'm like, we just got engaged a month ago. So let's back it up, Terry, and let's process this. Nico very much wants to be a parent like now.
Okay, I joke around. No. I joke around. I definitely joke around. Should we mention what happened?
We don't.
See?
No. Okay. So Nico very much wants to be like a dad like ASAP. And I want to be a mom too.
Well, mind you, I'm about to be 32 as well. Just putting that out there.
I want to be a mom, not ASAP. I want to enjoy our wedding and our marriage first. I did say though, like Nico, when we first started dating or a few years into our relationship, he did tell me like, I do want to be a dad by the time I'm 35.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay.
Which we're on track. That's cool.
Yeah. And also like hearing that though, as like a 22-year-old, I was like, okay.
Okay, but I was 26 at the time, so that's like 9 years.
Yeah, but like look how fast those 9 years are like about to like come.
Yeah.
You get me? Like,
but, yeah,
so
I get you.
I was talking to him and we were just kind of like, maybe like a year after our wedding is when I think is a good time to have kids. Like, I wouldn't want to start right away. I would want to enjoy our marriage first.
Hey man, all I'm saying is clock's ticking.
Clock is ticking.
Clock is ticking.
Not for me. I'm still young, sir. I'm still very much young. Man. I am only 26. So.
Hey, look. This is all I'm saying. You get married, you do your honeymoon, boom. 9 months later, you good to go, baby.
Okay, this isn't like the 70s where it's like you gotta like conceive at the honeymoon. Like that's crazy. That's not happening.
That's not a thing anymore.
Not for me.
Hey man, well I guess it ain't.
You can tell who's the older one in this relationship. That's all I can say.
Well, I guess it ain't the 1970s because then people ain't popping out babies when they're like 18 years old.
Yeah, that's crazy. What I'm saying? So like, I mean,
like, people are.
Nico, but I don't know how. Like, yeah, when is the best time to have kids after you get married? Like, how soon after?
You know what? I'll give it the year. I'll give it the year to kind of just like, okay, yeah, we're enjoying life.
We're enjoying life. Whatever happens.
Travel, float around, butterflies.
So I think that's what it is. I have a feeling Nico's going to want to be a dad so much sooner though. And like Nico very much is a girl dad. He wants to be a girl dad so bad.
Oh, yeah.
And I am terrified of having a girl just because of my attitude. And I don't want another me.
Yeah, see? And then Jackie's going to end up looking in the mirror and being like, fuck, this is what Nico got to deal with every day? Shit.
That is literally quite insane. That is literally quite insane. No, like, I just know that every mom who has a daughter always says, like, not that this is my karma, but like, that was me. And like always has this like thing that like is just like, that's how I was. And now it's coming back to bite me in the ass. And I just know that that's going to happen to me. I wish I was a better person. I wish I was a better person growing up.
You're just like, this little shit is acting how I was acting.
You little shit. Like, I know all your tricks.
There was a question that you asked me the other day about kids.
What did I
like,
ask
would you rather have a...
Oh, no, I'm not saying
that. Why? I'm down to answer.
Would you rather have a gay son or a thought daughter? That one?
Yeah.
So what would you rather have? Mr. Girl Dad?
I'm going to be honest. I'd rather have a gay son.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Because, first of all, I went to an all-boys high school. So, you know,
what the fuck does that mean?
We let the gay jokes fly. It's cool, you know what I mean? But, like, if I have a gay son, that means it's, like, cool. Like,
ally.
Yeah, I'm an ally. Like, I'm already an ally. But then having a gay son, it's like, yeah, I'm even more of an ally. Now I can make fun of him, and he can't be mad.
Oh my God. You're like, I still support you. You're like, I still support you.
Like, I support you. I support you by making fun of you and showing that, because that's how me as a human being, my own person, that's how I show my affection. I like to make fun of you. I like to make fun of people in general.
Yeah, he makes fun of me all the time. He does. He truly does.
Amen to that, man. Well, we'll see what happens after marriage and whatnot. But, we will be here a lot more over, 2025. I know it's about to be February, but thank you guys for listening. For everybody who is tuned into this podcast, we appreciate you. We're going to be posting a lot more and a lot more Mexipino Food Fest as well. My name is Nico Blitz.
I'm Jackie Ramirez.
And we will see you on the next Mexipino podcast. Bye.
Adios.